Hey, this is Retro-R-Us-Collectables coming in with the first place Newtype challenge. This Newtype challenge took place in Fenton, Michigan. I went 5-0 with Strike Gundam. We'll get into the list. This is a blue-white list. First we have 3 Freedom Gundam. 4 is too much. I feel like 3 is the perfect number. You see it, but not too often in the early game. Then we have 4 Strike Gundam. This is probably the best card in the Gundam card game so far. I played 2 Perfect Strike Gundam. This is a card that's seeing less and less favor more recently. The way I see it is this card is really meant to be played in the late game. It's a 4-4 for 3. You're really not bouncing 1 unless you're bouncing Corsica base tokens. Anything other than that, you really don't want to bounce. Two Sword Strike. This card was more or less the MVP of the tournament. I really didn't want to play more than 2. Without the link, it's not very good, but when you're linked and set, this card's amazing. And then 4 Kira. One of the better pilots in the game, for sure. Lets you make better trades than pretty much any other pilot in the game. Probably maybe Amuro could be contested, but Kira's really good. A small aerial rebuild package. I believe I would play Soletta even if I didn't play aerial rebuild. I thought about replacing aerial rebuilds for Justice Gundam, but I found that this being able to be played a turn earlier served better. And Soletta's an MVP with the 2 HP. Restanding cards is no explanation there. Played 2 Zort. There's a new blocker in the STO5 that you can consider playing over Zort. I feel like Zort being a level 2 makes it more reasonable to play. If your opponent says you're going to go first, you can play Zort 1 turn earlier. That was the logic there. 4 Lifrith. With L-Strike Gundam, this is probably the second MVP of the deck. It trades usually for 2 cards if you're playing it into an aggro matchup. You can equip this with a pilot, just like you could do any strong late game unit. The 4 HP makes it very formidable. That's it for the white units. Only 2 Gundam. I built this deck to have a early game presence as well as a late game presence, unlike a unicorn blocker variant, which really has no early game. In this tournament, I played against 5 aggro matchups. Gun Cannon at 2. An early game presence, rest cards, does trades, repairs. Paired with blockers, it sticks around for a long time. The same as Gundam, but a smaller, earlier game version. The best pilot in the game, Amuro. You really hold this card for when you need to rest things. This card paired with a low-end blocker like Lifrith can create some dynamic scenarios you wouldn't believe. As well as being paired with L-Strike. That makes it very powerful, taking out whole boards. For consistency, played 4 Overflowing. And contrary to a lot of builds, I only played 2 Show of Resolve. I probably respect presence more than hand in this deck, because most decks are gonna run out of hand space before you do, because you trade way better. Another controversial choice is 4 Striker Pack. I see this at 3 a lot. I see it at 2. People say, oh, well, if you have 1 token, you can't use it or you can't burst for it. You just make this card the priority to block. You really want to see it. These are 4 more copies of Lifrith, which is one of the best cards in the game. You can also make Sword Strike, which is a formidable attacker. People like Corsica Base. I don't understand why the logic doesn't apply with Striker Pack. Too unforeseen. I play Aerial Rebuild. That's probably the reason why these aren't 2 more blockers, like maybe Zord or the new STO5 blocker. This card is really good. I did a lot of plays where I had linked Sword Strike on the board, and you would attack into something, reduce the AP by 2, maybe take 1 or 2 damage. Sword Strike would be rested. If your opponent thinks they'll be able to take the Sword Strike down for a trade, hit them with Unforeseen. Sword Strike survives. Next turn, it's a whole nother animal. Logic can be applied with Zords as well. Zord is really good with this card. One Hawk of Endymion. I only played 1 because Unforeseen is better. This card is also a pilot, which makes it a unique card that can pair with Sword Strike and Perfect Strike Gundam, as well as bouncing back 2/1, 2/2 cards, which seem to be running the meta right now. This card is very good. And for my last 4 are Archangel. I chose not to play Corsica Base because it's a 3-cost card. I wasn't really valuing tokens. I feel like I have enough early game aggression. This card is an MVP. Restanding Freedom Gundam is insane. Favorite cards or MVPs of the deck. Soletta Mercury. Believe it or not, Perfect Strike. Hail Strike's a given. Freedom's a given. Gun Cannon is a card people don't play in this deck. The fact that you can pair this with Kira, Soletta, or Amuro, making it an insane card. Just trades for early game aggression, getting into the bases, applying pressure. This card must be dealt with. You can't let this guy sit around. Paired with the blockers and his repair effect, he doesn't really get cleared easily. Sword Strike, being a 4/4 for 3, your deck is designed to go late game. I don't understand why people aren't playing this card. It's pretty good. It's a mini L Strike. And Soletta being the 2 HP was a very good asset. So today we won the Gundam Aerial Rebuild. Soletta Mercury. And we got the Altart Overflowing. The matchups I played today were round 1, playing against Green Blue. It was a Shenlong Gundam deck with the early game Zaku's. Took me by surprise, got me down to 0 life with an Archangel standing, but I did pull out of that one. Round 2, I played against a red-blue ping deck. I won that one fairly easily. I think I was down to 3 shields. I went first both of those games. Round 3, we played against a red-blue ping deck again. I think I won that one with 3 shields standing in a base. I went second that game. And then round 4, I played against blue-white. It was a unicorn package deck. I won with 4 shields standing in a base. The MVPs were Freedom Gundam in that matchup. I saw 2 of them early. And instead of mulligan or get rid of them early, I held on to them. And that kind of gave me the advantage there. And round 5, which was the last round, was red-blue ping. And I won that matchup fairly easily. This deck is a rope-a-dope strategy. It's designed to draw your opponent into being aggressive early and taking bad trades with Lifriths, striker packs, your Archangel's replacements, but at the same time having the early game aggression of gun cannons, Amuros, Gundams, and Sword Strike Gundam. That's the deck's design. So you have an early game with Gundams and Lifriths and Zorts. You have a mid game with Sword Strike Gundam, Perfect Strike Gundam, and then your late game with Freedom Gundam, as well as your L Strike Gundam and your aerial rebuild, being able to pick up whatever you need in the late game. I would probably play this deck again. I do not think I would change anything. I maybe would like to try playing 2 Justice Gundam instead of aerial rebuild, but you may go weaker into a green-white matchup there, which I feel might be this deck's worst matchup. All in all, it was a good tournament. Appreciate everyone for watching. If you would like to purchase any of these cards or any other Gundam singles or vintage sleeves, you can visit my eBay store at Retro-R-Us-Collectables. Thank you.
So I went into the second show feeling like, okay, I got to figure some